Ladies and gentlemen, eating tacos can be messy, and folks, Donald Trump, the taco president, just took that to a whole new level. If it seems to you like we are on the Titanic and Trump is ignoring the water, or possibly that he's standing in the middle of the Great Chicago Fire saying he does not smell smoke, well, it just got worse. And now we know one key official is jumping ship, or at least putting on his life jacket, and letting Trump and J.D. Vance destroy themselves. If you need further proof that it's all coming apart, notice who is moving for the fire escape. Taco meets rah-rah next here on The David Reddish Show. Welcome, welcome, beautiful viewers. I am your host, as always, reminding you to subscribe to our channel. We are getting so close toward our next benchmark of 400,000, so help us out by joining up and getting word out about the show. You will also stay up to date on all the dirty secrets the administration doesn't want you to know, like this taco platter. It is Taco Tuesday, of course, and true to form, the Trump administration is talking a big game only to back away from their own claims. Take, for example, the current mess in Iran. Yesterday, Vice President and Scotch Guard spokesperson J.D. Vance ran afoul of the Iranians after making some major claims, which they denied.
We laid a very good foundation for a successful final deal. The final deal is the house. We set the foundation. We haven't built the house, but we've laid a successful foundation to get to a good place for the American people.
The vice president is now heading home after talks this weekend, and he said that the Iranians have agreed to let international nuclear inspectors back into their country. Critically, though, Iran's foreign minister is pushing back on that claim. For its part, the United States says that it's willing to unfreeze Iran's assets on the condition that they're used to purchase American agricultural products. But that progress was almost delayed this weekend after Iran's military said it was once again closing the Strait of Hormuz in response to continued Israeli attacks on Lebanon.
Is it just me, beautiful viewers, or does Vance, a man often mistaken for poppin' fresh in mascara, just never seem to learn anything? Does it seem like he's getting more and more pathetic the longer these negotiations go on? Well, maybe he knows someone is pushing him off a cliff. Stay with me. Indeed, this Iran mess has shot what little credibility Vance had. He's made so many claims that are just outright false at this point, and it looks like he's getting steamrolled by the Iranians as he makes more and more concessions, and they make less. If you watch our show, and subscribe if you haven't, you know that one detail which has perplexed me is why the Vice President and not Secretary of State Marco Rubio is negotiating this deal. The Secretary of State is our highest diplomat and the one who would usually oversee talks with a foreign nation. If you watch our show, you also know I've long reported on a quiet civil war in the administration between Vance and Rubio. Both want to succeed President Strokey Pants in 2028. Well, this morning, we got a better understanding of why Vance is taking the lead. As it turns out, not only does it seem like Trump is setting Vance up to fail, but Marco Rubio knows Vance will fail and destroy his own political future, and that is exactly the point. Take a look.
Meanwhile, the talks between the U.S. and Iran are turning into more of a he said, they said. Vice President J.D. Vance, who led the American negotiators, says that Iran agreed to let nuclear inspectors back into the country. By the way, that is something that was already in place under Obama's deal until President Trump tore it up. But overnight, Iran officially said that there is no visit scheduled for nuclear inspectors. Tehran also said that Iran made no nuclear commitments in those talks, which, remember, was the reason Trump says he went to war to begin with. And just a few hours ago, the president posted that despite what Iran is saying officially and publicly, that they have fully and completely agreed to the highest level nuclear inspections long into the future. Infinity! Exclamation point. We're going to get into that with our leadoff panel in just a moment. But first, I want to bring in my colleague, Jake Traylor, White House reporter for MS Now. Okay, you've got new reporting, Jake, on how exactly Vance became the face of these public talks, even though he was the one supposedly who opposed this war.
Stephanie, that's right. The largest dissenter inside the White House was Vice President Vance. Cut to now, he is the face, the lead of the negotiations. How did that happen? That's what our reporting, my colleague David Rhodes and I, got into here. A couple pretty notable things. One, I was told by a White House official that initially Rubio sort of strategically sidestepped this role as the lead of negotiations. This official told me that Rubio had the foresight and awareness to say, this deal is not going to be successful. I don't want my name attached to it. Another White House official told me that they thought Vance was the wrong person for the job, but Rubio didn't really want it, and it kind of fell in Vance's lap. And as the vice president, he had to sort of play along. But what that's led to is what one former senior administration official described essentially as salesmanship. Vance having to sell something that ultimately is not successful. When we tick through this 14-point MOU, there are very little, if anything, things that they can point to that say this was a success in this moment. One really notable quote, Stephanie, I think, was from a former senior administration official who said, what Vance is doing right now, that's putting lipstick on a very ugly pig. And I think probably the most illuminating moment for how difficult this uphill battle is for Vance right now comes from over the weekend during the negotiations. We saw Vice President Vance touting progress, saying they were going to turn over a new leaf, a new relationship between the U.S. and Iran. And literally minutes later, we have a truth from President Trump that is threatening to restart military strikes again. It just shows the juxtaposition here that ultimately Vance can be the face of this thing, but it doesn't mean he has the control here.
Well, folks, we officially know a broken Disneyland animatronic in Minnie Mouse shoes is officially smarter than a hillbilly Teletubby. Rubio, in essence, is abdicating his job responsibilities to see Vance destroyed by Iran. Remember, Rubio warned Trump against the attack in the first place. Vance did too, but he more willingly bends over, especially if there's a love seat involved. No, I'm not going to elaborate on that one. So, beautiful viewers, in sum, you can now compliment a taco president with a rah-rah Secretary of State. Rubio always runs away. And this time, it looks like he'll live to politic another day. As for JD, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Pillsbury Doughboy is always looking for a nude body double. Career aspirations, people. This is the David Reddish Show.